Hello, hello, Hannah. Michaela Cox. Welcome to Entrepreneur Talks podcast run by Women Flix. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, fabulous. Hannah, before we start our session, our conversation that I know is going to be amazing, where are you talking from?
Louisiana, stateside in the United States.
Fantastic. So, as you are aware, I'm in London, United Kingdom, right?
Yes.
Good. So, before we start, what is your message or story you have to share with people?
I've been calling it my 38 triple D. Has nothing to do with garment size or appearance, but it is the journey of going from much tribulation to thriving in all things, which includes a lifelong disability of legal blindness, divorce at 26, and death of beloved husband at 38.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So where were we going to start? I heard so many things, good things. And so where would you like to start to talk now?
Wherever you like, we can start at the beginning, or if you have questions.
Yes, from the beginning. So you mentioned that you had some, you spoke about disability, you spoke about divorce, right? And then
Yes.
you remarried is something.
Yes, I was born, we'll start at the beginning. I was born totally blind, and then at 7 months old, I gained some sight, but it is impaired, and I've never had a breath or a day where I didn't see through eyes that weren't medically considered normal, I guess. So I've always had it, always will. It created challenges growing up and throughout life. I don't drive. I'm not really sure internationally what would be considered legally blind. I mean, it may be the same as stateside. I just don't know because I don't live overseas. But stateside, what that means is, for anyone who might be wondering in your audience, is we all know that the standard for perfect vision is 20/20. So the further you get away from it, the more impaired it is.
Right.
And for the United States, the way the law defines blindness is if you're, I think, 2200 to 2400 or maybe 2100. If you're anywhere in that parameter without correction, then the law sees you as blind. That's how the law stateside defines it, if that helps at all.
Wow. So that means you're not blind. They don't accept, like they don't put you on the description as a blind, but state.
No, I'm considered legally blind. That's what I'm saying. Based off of my numbers, I'm within the parameters of what the law defines as blind. Hence,
Okay. I feel like you said that is another type of blind, which is state blind.
Okay. No, I was meaning stateside. That's how it's defined, because I don't know how internationally. It may be the same. I just don't know. So I was giving context to the way we do it in America.
Right, because I'm not really, I can't say anything regarding Europe or UK because there we go. We get more information. Now I'm going to be checking after our conversation, definitely. To find out, because there we go, that's why we exist, that's why we do this podcast, to bring awareness, to teach people. And I think this is a really important topic that I never spoke with anyone about it. And thank you so much once again, Anna Cox, to be here and talk about your situation, how it's been, and how it's been your life, like in terms of there we go. You just spoke about the being a blind, and what is the benefits or like the support? Do you feel supported about?
With friends and family, but as an adult stateside, there are challenges for the disabled in this country when you get into education and employment and job and all that stuff, which that's a whole nother
level
conversation of social policy and politics and decisions. But I've, as far as more related to myself personally and what I've done in my life before we jump off all these rabbit trails, totally different topics, I've always chosen to try and do my best and not give up and not quit and not stop and do what I have to do. no matter what challenges may have come my way, like I said, it has come with challenges. I had a lot growing up, especially academically and socially, but I've not let it stop me. I mean, there are some things I'll never be able to do. Like, you don't want me driving. Okay. It's just, you don't, there's no getting around that. That's not a good idea when you're legally blind to drive. But you find ways around it. And so that's what I've always chosen to do. And then as far as the rest of my story goes, you know, I grew up, I got out of high school, I went to university, I met someone, you got married, and it didn't go as what you would have thought. And it wasn't the fairy tale that it was thought to have been. And so I ended up choosing to walk away from that situation because it was no longer workable.
Yeah. Yes.
Through his own choices. And so I got divorced at 26. And then not long after that, I met another man, and he ended up being my happily ever after in chapter 2 and all that good stuff. And then we were together for almost 12 years. And then tragically in 2017, we lost him. He passed away. And then I became, in April of 2017, I became a widow, a solo mom, and who was still disabled, and everything changed. And so that's my story. It's everything I've had to do and
yes,
work through and try and find my way.
Yes, I know we always try to find our ways, but I'm sorry to hear that about your beautiful
Thank you.
husband. And and all this happening, and you start to write, right? Like books. So
Well, I've written my whole entire life. I don't remember not writing. It's who I am. It's what I do.
amazing.
If I'm not doing it, I'm thinking about it. I'm planning it. I'm obsessing about it probably. But
I understand you, don't worry. I know what you're talking about, where you
yeah,
come.
it's just what I do. It's who I am. I don't know how to not write. I wrote my first piece when I was in 2nd grade. I wrote my first poem in 4th grade. Obviously, what I write now is not what I wrote when I was a kid, but
Right.
and that's been an evolving process in and of itself of how you find yourself and what you do. But it's just, I always felt like I had a voice, and I felt like I needed to express it, and I felt like doing it through the written word was a good place to do it. And so it's what I do. And I had published a book back in 2011, 10 years ago. And then I was a relatively new mom at the time. My daughter was 8 months old, and I decided to start grad school. I'm not sure that was a great idea. 8-month-old grad school, you know, maybe I was insane. I don't know. And then of course, during that time period of the 5 years in grad school, my son was born, and I was doing my thesis with a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old who wasn't sleeping through the night. Yeah, that was a fun semester. But then when I got out of grad school in 2016, I decided to swap nap time and nighttime for grad school work for starting to write all these books. And I'd written 2.5 books in New Hampshire, and then everything changed with the passing of my husband. Excuse me. And then, so we moved back to Louisiana. Well, I moved back to Louisiana. My kids had never lived in Louisiana before. They were born in New Hampshire. And then I had to put our world back together and our lives back together, and kind of had to put things on hold. And then I guess 2018, after we'd been back a year, I started to try and write again, and then started publishing books in 2019.
Awesome. And you've been publishing, and did you release anything now between 2020 and 21, or just 19?
Oh yeah, I'm a busy girl. I can't not do something. I'm always doing more than one thing. And 2020, 2020, yeah. I released 3 books that year, and then I'm fixing to release my 3rd book tomorrow this year.
Wow. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that, because we're just talking one day before you release the next book. So that's an amazing thing. And where can people, like where my listeners can find the information about your books, or how they can reach you, find them?
I'm on all of my books are on Amazon. I have a total of like 9 books, or 8 or something like that. I'm losing track.
I will check. Don't worry.
I'm on Amazon. All of my books are there. And then I have a website called my Heartfelt Meditations.com.
Yes. And what is your books about? What do you write about?
It's all nonfiction. I have 5 series I'm working on. There is the one that's coming out tomorrow is the sequel in the motherhood series called Take a Sip, Take a Breath and Go. I released that first book in 2019, and then a companion book in 2020. Yeah. And then this one is the part 2 of it. The first book was on being a new mom and a first-time mom with 1 kid. And then this one's about, part 2, here we go again. I've got 2 kids and, it's still motherhood, but you're kind of relearning everything because it's different when you have more than 1 kid. So it's about that. So that's that series. And then I have another series on my faith, because I am a woman of faith, that is called Scripture, Spirituality in Our Culture Today. That new second book will be coming out in February. Then I have a book on American politics. It's not really about so much what goes on in DC, is more of what this America was supposed to be about and how it was started, and knowing our history and understanding what America's supposed to be. That's We Are the People Are ? That series. I did a series. This is one of the books I released in August of 2020. It's called Before the Clock Strikes Midnight. It was a book written to my children. It's not children's books, but it was written to my children. I felt a strong urgency of passing on and having a place of all the nuggets of wisdom and truth of lessons that I want them to take with them in life. And then so it's written for them, but it's also about, I think it would be useful for parents and maybe grandparents or legal guardians about us being really intentional about what we want to instill in our children and pass on to them. So that's that series. There will be a sequel in that one as well in 2022. And then the book that I did in June is called Now I See. That's a story, that's a series on my actual life of everything we've talked about today about walking the journey of 38 Triple D. And it goes through the experiences of which I've lived, disability, divorce, and death of my beloved husband. And it shares the journey and the lessons learned through that journey.
Wow. Do you know what I was thinking while you were explaining all these books? Amazing. I just feel like I want to get in touch with these books. I want to know more. But another thing is a movie. Next step, one day someone will come and say, Anna, let's do a movie from one of your series.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Anything can happen. I won't say no, but life is funny. It tends to go in different directions you don't expect. So who knows?
Yes, who knows? But
right now I'm enjoying podcasting and sharing my message through being guest on amazing opportunities of through it's amazing to me how y'all put a podcast together. So I'm grateful, but and then I want to look at getting a TEDx talk, and I'm trying to get into speaking.
Yes. It's going to be, you see, going to TEDx talks and all this process wherever you go and share your vision and your experience, you will be able to, you are not sharing just with me, but we're sharing with so many people that you never know. Someone come and said, okay, I want to do a series, a movie, a series on Anna Cox, and I will remember you. I'm sure this is going to happen. I just feel it. So I'm so happy that I can be talking with you, and
I'm grateful for the opportunity. Part of the message, that is the message of 38 Triple D, of thriving, going from tribulation to thriving, but it's also what I've learned what to use to help me get through to thrive in those circumstances. And that's part of it. It's I like to call it my 5-step methodology or systematic approach, which I think is very applicable to anybody, because tribulation is tribulation is tribulation. And in this life, we don't get unscathed. We're all going to go through something. Your something or someone else's something may be different from mine and mine from y'all's, but it's still tribulation. And if we choose to be overcomers and thrive, no matter what the tribulation that we're trying to overcome is the same. We still have to overcome it. And how you do that is the same. So I would like to say that it's my faith that's seen me through all of it. And then the second piece is life is a choice. You can either be defined by your circumstances or choose to define it for yourself.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
And then mindset is key. There's a reason why we always say mind over matter, and that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. So I feel like mindset, and I think that's the harder piece, because we can't always control what comes into our minds or our brains or the emotions we feel. Yeah. But we do get a choice in what we do with them. And are we going to let it keep us down, or are we going to find a way to put a positive spin on it and help it move us forward? And then the third one is self-care, which I think is extremely important. Well, it always has been, but I think the pandemic, one of the silver linings of the pandemic, and I don't know what it's like it's been on the other side of the globe, but for all countries outside of the US. But I think because we're all going through it, we're all having to figure out how to care for ourselves in this very like
unthinkable.
insane, yeah, like no one saw this coming, like what the heck. And you can't say, oh well, it's just that person. No, the whole world's going through it. Okay, there is no one getting out of this one, so we're all dealing with it. So things are being brought to the surface that I don't know would have necessarily come to the surface because it's impacting everybody. And so I think it's opened up the door to a lot of conversations that probably should have been had a long time ago, but because everyone's going through it, it's all relevant and relatable to everybody now, so it's being talked about. And to me, self-care is anything, it's a broad topic because it's anything having to do with one's care of oneself. And it's important, and we need to give ourselves permission to do it, and it can make the world a difference. And then lastly, I say getting resources.
Yeah.
Of whatever nature, because there's all different types of resources. Sorry.
That's all right. Yes, totally. I love it. I love it. Anna, once again, I'm speechless because I'm just I'm just in front of another powerful super women. Like, you are so brave. You just made me feel like, wow. Do you know when you think you got problems, you got situations that you don't know how to handle, but then someone else comes and say, hey girl, you don't have stuff to complain, or you don't have, and this is the kind of message that I get from this, from our conversation, from your story, not from our conversation in general, but from your story. Is very transformational, and I love the fact that you hold tight on faith.
Yes,
that's the powerful thing that I think everyone should understand, or find more information, or even read one of your books, because there we go, there is a series about it that you explain about your faith and everything, right?
yes.
Yeah, so
It's the scripture, spirituality in our culture one.
Yes, I think is important. For me, it's for the fundamental, and I don't know to think without my faith. I'm also a faithful woman. And one thing that you mentioned when I asked you where people can find you, you said Amazon, your books on Amazon, but also if my listeners go straight to your website, they can reach your store on your website, your Amazon.
Yes, they can. There's a link to it.
Okay, all right. Because I will be.
And I am on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but you can get to all those links from my website.
Fantastic. Okay, that's really good, because this information, your website, your Facebook, or all the information that you provide me, I will be placing on the podcast information under our video, and people can reach you. And also, regarding promotions and freebies, I know you gave me a link, but could you explain me? I don't know if you remember. Is a Google Drive folder?
Yeah, it is. Oh gosh, I can't remember which one I sent you.
No worries.
I can resend it to you if you want me to. That might be easier.
I can explain. I can tell you exactly what. Actually, no, I can't, because I don't have access. You would need to give me access. So I have the link.
Okay, I'll fix that and I'll send it to you again today. Is that okay?
Yeah, is that okay? Because I will be placing this freebie. But do you remember what exactly it's about?
It was one of two things. It was either a file to one of my books, or it was a resource bundle I'd put together, and I don't remember which one I sent. But I'll fix it.
No worries. That we still got time, and I will be, as soon as I receive, it will be available as well on the podcast, and everyone can get access to this lovely freebie that Anna is giving with the pure heart. I'm sure you're going to be blessed somehow, some way, to everyone that is going to reach you as well. So I don't have any other questions for you, but I would like to. There we go. I don't have any other questions. I have one more question. Is what would you like to say, like as an advice or a tip or a quote? What would you like to say to end our conversation to my
That's an
listeners?
easy question. I apologize. My computer is fixing to die. I'm so sorry. I'm getting my charger.
No problem, no problem. I hope it doesn't switch off before I say bye-bye. And you
No,
say,
that's
bye.
why I'm getting it, even though it probably looked weird on the camera to have me bent below trying to find my charger. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Yes, what I would always tell people is life is a journey and it's a choice. You get to either define it for yourself and not be defined by your circumstances. Choose wisely because we get one shot at this, and travel your journey well so that you can thrive in all things.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Anna, God bless you. That, amen. And you keep writing the way you write. And I'm so excited. I'm going to reach right now, straight away after this. I'm going to go and check your books. And I also will add your books to our Amazon store. Flix has a Amazon store. So any woman that will be coming looking for your books as well, there's another way. If they will reach Amazon store, our Amazon store, and they can
thank you.
Away. Now you're welcome. Straight away, they will be having access directly to your books without no rush. But I wish you all the best to you, to your kids. And
I appreciate your gracious words. And don't worry, I'm not done. I have lots of me yet. I have lots to do.
But thank you so much for being here with us. And I will be sending you an email very soon, and we're gonna keep in touch, right?
Yes, definitely.
I know you are on Facebook, on social media.
I feel like there's a lot of topics that I brushed over today, but could be a conversation in of themselves. So I have no problem speaking again, or I love to talk. I don't have a problem with that. But so yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of things that might be conversational and beneficial and starting a dialogue. So yeah.
Yes, we can do it again, of course. I will be asking you also, actually, you have a Facebook, but you don't have Instagram.
No, I have both.
Both. Okay. All right. I will get in touch with you because we can do a live and bring these conversations, one of the topics on live. What do you think?
That's awesome. I'd love that.
Okay. Thank you so much. God bless you. You take care.
You too. Have a great day.
You too, Anna. Bye-bye.
Bye.